During the Clone Wars, Ahsoka Tano is framed for a bombing she didn't commit. After having her name cleared from Anakin, defeating Barriss Offee and forcing her to confess her sins, the Jedi Council asked Ahsoka to rejoin the Order. In the original timeline, Ahsoka refuses and says that she can't trust the Jedi and needs time to figure out who she is without the Order. But what if Ahsoka actually rejoined the Order and stayed with Anakin? How would this change the timeline that we all know and love today? Hey guys, make sure to check out our saber shop, Fantasy Sabers, for the best NeoPixel sabers on the market. We have a bunch of perfect replicas and other insane Padawan sabers for sale. Check them out on our website, first link in the description below, and grab your own one today. After Ahsoka is allowed back in the Jedi Order, she returns with a strained relationship with the Council. There is much tension there, which is exacerbated by the fact that she pretty much avoided all contact with them. Despite the tension, she continues to serve alongside Anakin in the Clone Wars, fighting in battles and handling missions. Their camaraderie is stronger than before. Anakin put himself at the mercy of the Council and the Republic courts to find evidence that Ahsoka was innocent. And while Ahsoka doesn't trust the Council, it made her trust Anakin more than anyone else in the galaxy. During a debrief to the Council after a mission from the Outer Rim sieges, the Council praised Ahsoka for her skills, but they explain from a battle report that she refused to send a squad of clones into the heart of a separatist camp, and instead decided to go by herself. They advise her to use her clones, to trust them. This causes Ahsoka to smirk, and she almost lets out a laugh. Windu senses her tone, and asks Ahsoka if she has anything she would like to say. Padawan Tano doesn't hide her disgust. What do any of you know about trust? You expelled me without cause, and now you expect me to stand here and pretend that everything's normal? The Council goes silent for a moment, as they all wait for someone to speak. Master Plo offers an apology on behalf of the Council. Plo was the Jedi who found and brought Ahsoka into the temple. They were old friends, but it's clear that their relationship has been irreparably damaged, and Ahsoka knows it.
Wrong, we were to question your loyalty. Caught up in this war we got. Start fresh with you, we must.
Ahsoka didn't know what to say. After the session, Yoda asked to speak with Ahsoka privately. In the council chambers after everyone had left, Yoda reflects on her words in the meeting.
Trust, young one. A fragile thing it is. Rebuilt it must be, but through actions, not words.
He tells Ahsoka to continue her path, that she hasn't done anything wrong and her misfortune has been at the hands of the Council. I appreciate your words, Master Yoda, but I don't know how to be around the Council anymore. I feel like everyone is judging me, waiting for me to step out of line. Yoda thinks for a moment and then tells her to accompany him on a mission that he is thinking of embarking upon. Ahsoka asks which battle they are going to, but the Grand Master shakes his head.
Personal journey this is. Battle and war it is not. Perhaps if you come, find the answers to trust and loyalty you will.
Ahsoka nods her head and together they leave. Yoda was simply following the Force after he heard voices whispering to him. Together, the Jedi travel and arrive on the mystical planet of the Wills. Just like in the original timeline, they meet with the Wills and are given a journey where Yoda must face his inner demons and overcome his fear for the future. Yoda and Ahsoka embark on this together. They are tested along the way, attacked by creatures and each seeing visions, but they work through it together. Finally, as they reach the end of the path, a dark-side Yoda and dark-side Ahsoka appear, and they are forced to attack, each igniting their sabers and swinging. Ahsoka and Yoda clashed against their dark side selves, struggling to keep up as each blow felt stronger than the last. The dark versions of themselves seemed to anticipate every move, their strikes relentless, pushing them to the edge. Ahsoka's lightsaber deflected with ease, and Yoda struggled to regain his footing, overwhelmed by the dark energy surrounding them. It was only when they locked eyes and Yoda told Ahsoka that he trusted her, and Ahsoka returned the comment that they knew what they had to be doing. They had to trust each other, as they had once, and they fought as one. With synchronized precision, they merged their attacks and worked together, fighting at the same time and defending together. This allowed them to break through the defenses and beat the dark side versions of themselves.
Sorry, I am Padawan Tano. The council was wrong to expel you. See that, now I do. Focused on politics. Wrong it has been. Change, we must.
I'm afraid of being abandoned again, Master.
Together, we will find a way to make you feel welcome.
Their words cut deep into each other's souls and they both smiled. Yoda congratulates her on her fighting ability. From here, they are greeted again by the Wills. Yoda speaks long and hard with them, trying to understand his role in the Force. He was called here for a reason, to understand the path of the Jedi. As Ahsoka sits there with the Wills, meditating and focusing their mind, the world around her blurred, and before she knew it, she was standing on Coruscant. The streets were dark, the air filled with tension, and she saw a cloaked figure standing on a distant rooftop. The figure moved swiftly, pulling a sniper rifle from under his cloak, and Ahsoka's heart sank as she recognized him, the infamous bounty hunter Cad Bane. Bane aimed his sniper as he pulled the trigger. The bolt of energy flew across the night sky, hitting Senator Padme Amidala directly in the chest. Ahsoka's eyes widened in shock as Padme crumbled to the ground, gasping for air. Anakin was standing right next to her and caught her before she slammed against the ground. His face twisted in agony as he held her, but the pain wasn't just for Padme, it was for something much greater, something that Ahsoka didn't understand. The vision shattered, and Ahsoka gasped, her breath sharp and erratic. She snapped her eyes open, the room around her spinning as she tried to steady herself. Yoda stood before her, asking what happened. Ahsoka shook her head, still trying to grasp what she had just seen. I saw Padme, she was shot, and Anakin, he was there, holding her, but something doesn't feel right, Master. Yoda's eyes narrowed as he turned his gaze towards the Wills.
Pregnant, Padme is. Involved in Senate matters, not nearly as much as before has she been. A bounty hunter like Bane? Add up, it does not. For Padme, this was not.
Yoda said. He placed his fingers on his chin as he tried to figure out what her vision could mean.
For Anakin, the chosen one, this was a trap for him.
The thought of it hit Ahsoka like a punch to the gut. Padme's life had been in danger, but it was Anakin who had truly been the target all along. There was no reason to target Padme unless someone wanted to break Anakin. Yoda's concern deepened, and without another word, he motioned for Ahsoka to follow him.
Come, return to Coruscant, we must.
Yoda and Ahsoka thanked the Wills. Yoda had learned what he came here to learn, and for Ahsoka, well, she had a bit of both worlds. Her and Yoda had squashed any mistrust between her and the Council, and to be honest, her relationship with Master Yoda was at the greatest it had ever been. But now she feared for Anakin and Padme's lives. From here, they return to Coruscant and Yoda goes straight to Padme's apartment while Ahsoka goes to the rooftop from the other building. Ahsoka locates and engages Bane right where he was in her vision. Although he puts up a fight, he is no match for a Jedi, and she takes him down and arrests him. Cad Bane is taken to the Jedi Temple for questioning. Just as we see in the Clone Wars, the Council uses the Force to get into his mind. As Yoda, Windu, Anakin, and Ahsoka try to pierce his mind, the bounty hunter puts up a strong fight. The Jedi command to know his secrets about his employer. Bane starts to speak, but he stops himself. He is tough to crack, and the Jedi use all of their strength. Eventually, with Force persuasion, the Jedi make Bane admit that Sidious hired him to kill Padme Amidala, and she is the key to everything. The Council didn't understand what ties Padme would have at the end of the war. Padme is immediately placed in protective custody, and Anakin and Ahsoka are put in charge of her security. When they are in custody together, Anakin is completely distraught and worried for Padme. He doesn't shield his worries, he paces back and forth in his room, his mind running rampant. He was like a ticking time bomb. Ahsoka tried to calm her master, but it didn't work. Anakin only grew more worried for his wife. Ahsoka would admit to them both that she knows about their relationship, and she has always known but kept it a secret for their sake. But now she needs everyone to be honest with each other. This makes Anakin calm slightly, but he still doesn't know why Padme is being targeted. That night, Anakin gets visions of Padme dying in childbirth and wakes up screaming. Padme and Ahsoka both hear it and ask Anakin what's wrong. Explaining the vision he received, they all become very concerned. Ahsoka sat beside Anakin, her heart heavy with the weight of Padme's life hanging in the balance. "We'll find a way to save her, Anakin," she promised, her voice filled with determination. "Padme is one of my closest friends. We'll figure this out together." Anakin's face tightened with frustration, but he nodded, his mind racing. The only place we'll find any answers is in the restricted sections of the archives, but it's heavily guarded. We'll have to sneak in. Ahsoka agreed without hesitation, but Padme immediately said no. She didn't want them risking their lives for her. But it was too late, their minds were set. Together, they moved through the shadows, avoiding the watchful eye of the Jedi guards. They found their way into the archives, the dim light casting long shadows as they searched through scrolls, holocrons, and ancient texts. They pored over every word, desperate for anything that could offer a solution. They found mentions of Force essence transfer, healing abilities, and ways to extend life, but nothing that could protect somebody from death. The hours stretch on, their frustration growing with each failed attempt. Just as Ahsoka thought they were getting close, their comms buzzed urgently, pulling them from their search. It was Padme. Her voice, which was usually calm, was now filled with fear. "Ahsoka, Anakin, someone is breaking into my safe house. I need help now." Ahsoka's heart skipped a beat, and she exchanged a quick, worried glance with Anakin. Anakin slammed his fist against the wall. How could they be so stupid to leave her? Without another word, they raced out of the archives, the weight of the situation pressing down on them. They knew time was running out. Padme was in danger, and whatever they had been searching for was now secondary to the immediate threat they had to face. On the way back, Anakin calls the council and tells them to go to the safe house immediately. When they arrive at Padme's safe house, they were met with a terrifying sight. Sidious stood over her, his dark presence overwhelming the room as Padme lay motionless on the floor, barely able to move. Her eyes were filled with fear, looking at Anakin with a plea for help. Without hesitation, Anakin and Ahsoka ignited their lightsabers and rushed in, but Sidious was too powerful. He struck with lightning-fast precision, his dark side energy suffocating. Ahsoka and Anakin fought together, but Sidious pushed them back at every turn. With each clash of their lightsabers, their strength waned. Sidious's relentless attacks sent Ahsoka sprawling and left Anakin struggling to defend himself. As the Dark Lord kicks Ahsoka and uses the Force to push Anakin into the wall, Sidious was alone with Padme. He hovered his blade above Padme, ready to strike. Anakin's heart raced, and he knew he couldn't let her die. But just as Sidious raised his blade to deliver the fatal blow, the sound of footsteps echoed behind them. The Jedi Council arrived, led by Yoda and Mace Windu, their lightsabers blazing. They launched a furious assault at Sidious, pushing him back with their combined strength. Sidious countered, but the Jedi were relentless. The battle was fierce, each blow from the Jedi driving the Sith Lord further back. Together, they began to overwhelm Sidious, his dark power faltering. Finally, with a coordinated strike from Yoda and Mace, Sidious was defeated. Anakin rushed to Padme's side, relief flooding through him as he held her close. The battle had been won. After the battle, the Jedi carefully approached Sidious, his body laying still. When they pulled back his hood, they were all stunned to see the face of Chancellor Palpatine, the man who had been hiding in plain sight all along. The galaxy had been deceived, and now the truth was revealed. News spread quickly through the Senate, and the truth of Palpatine's betrayal shook the Republic to its core. With the news becoming public, the Separatist Council immediately began calling for surrender, realizing their leader was dead and they had no chance in the war. Without Sidious to control them, the Clone Wars came to an end, and peace slowly returned to the galaxy. Anakin was relieved when Padme survived childbirth, and he was holding their children in his arms. He made a choice that would change his life forever. He decided to leave the Jedi Order, knowing that his place was with his family. He promised himself that he would never let anything happen to Padme again. They moved to Naboo, where they raised their children in peace, away from the war that had torn the galaxy apart. As for Ahsoka, her trust in the Jedi Council was finally restored. After Anakin's departure, the Council saw her true strength, and spearheaded by Yoda, they granted her the rank of Jedi Master, and she became the youngest member to ever sit on the Jedi Council, at only 18 years old. The galaxy, though still recovering, began to heal. Peace was restored, and the dark days of the war were behind them. The Republic was finally at rest.
Ignite your imagination with fantasy sabers.
Thank you all for watching today's video. Please check out our saber shop, Fantasy Sabers, where you can get your very own NeoPixel saber for an affordable price, and fulfill your childhood dreams of becoming a Jedi or Sith. Also check out our membership platform to be able to watch our videos early, and may the Force be with you.